Does this image scare you? What about this one? Or this one? I don't know what's on your screen right now, by the way. As someone with many fears, a lot of this video is going to be kind of hypocritical. I'm scared of the most cliche shit like spiders, deep seas, and I used to be afraid of failure, but I realized that you have to fail to succeed sometimes. But on the contrary, I'm not scared of stuff like public speaking, death, heights. I actually find heights pretty cool, and I'm not afraid of heights because I feel like it ties into death, something that I'm not scared of. And also more niche stuff like clowns and snakes don't instill any fear into me. Honestly, I don't know why spiders creep me out so much. It might just be like the feeling of them, but even the sight of them can make my skin crawl. I fuck with Spider-Man though. But this fear I have raises questions in me. Like, why do I have this fear when others have no problems with spiders? Why are people afraid of snakes and I have no issues with them? Why are people more afraid of death than failure? Is it their faith, morals, personal experiences? Personally, I think all fear is taught and mostly useless. Let me break down why. I know like less than a minute ago I said that I didn't have a fear of dying, which is definitely true, but one of the earliest fears I ever had was the fear of dying. Being a little kid, the only thing I remember besides fearing like creepypasta and shit was just death. And it wasn't just the thought of dying, but more so what happens to your consciousness after you die. I didn't have too much faith that there was for sure a heaven waiting for me. Some nights when I couldn't sleep, I would genuinely just cry myself to sleep thinking about being stuck in a dark, empty limbo for eternity. All because of death. I feel like the only reason I had this fear was because even though I felt like I was a Christian, I was still skeptical of the afterlife and very curious as to what other things it could be. I had questions like, what if I wasn't born into a Christian environment? Would I just go to hell? If my religion is right, why wasn't it the first religion? There probably was a point in time where I was researching Hinduism, I'm not gonna lie, but that's besides the point. I'm not even a religious ass nigga, and yeah, I just cursed to prove that point, so don't click off the video thinking this is a conversion video or some shit. If anything, I feel like most religions, especially Christianity, are used to instill fear into the masses. When you say shit like, you better do good or the Father of the universe is gonna cast you into a lake of eternal fire for the rest of time, it just sounds egregious and a little made up to scare people like me. But with that being said, having faith kinda did help. It made me lose my fear of death. That and the fact that I have to die anyway. And I'm not suicidal or anything, but around the time that I had the epiphany of getting over this fear, I mostly felt like I'd be okay with dying. Like it didn't really matter and I wanted to see people's reaction. Maybe that's just me being an attention whore though and a little nihilistic. I don't really feel like that anymore because now I have like real goals, hence why I'm speaking to you right now. Subscribe, by the way. Anyway, I think all people's fears are taught or somehow instilled. And if I never had the internet or any peeks at other religions, younger me would have never been afraid of death because he would think, oh, I'm just gonna go to heaven. I feel like this applies to all fears. The only reason people have a fear of heights is because we know if you somehow, by the curse of God, fall off the ledge, you are cooked. And you only know that because someone else has experienced it or put that fear into you. Or if you happen to fall off a ledge and survive, in that case, good shit, I guess. I don't know, maybe watch your step next time. What's crazy though is that some people are way less fearful about heights or certain shit than others. Like, I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm not walking a fucking tightrope. But I'd sit like on a balcony or a ledge. And some people would never do that. I feel like the slight fear that would get into me if someone asked me to walk a tightrope is a good thing though. While on the other hand, my fear of a weak ass spider is inconvenient and kinda dumb. They don't even pose as much of a threat as a snake vicinity wise, yet I never hold a fucking tarantula like I've held a python. And that is dumb. Fear is dumb. Mostly weird, but dumb. One of the main reasons fear is dumb is that most of it is taught and not natural. Nobody with a fear of clowns or spiders or probably even public speaking was just born with that fear. It gets conditioned into you. It's passed down, exaggerated, or learned from watching other people freak out. A lot of the fears that get forced upon us don't even make sense either. Like, take public speaking for example. I know people that are scared to speak in front of a crowd but will post on social media for hundreds or thousands of people. Another fear that sucks and contradicts itself is the fear of failure. Most people are scared of failure and also scared of being average. Suppose you don't try something out of the ordinary and risk failure a few times. Ultimately, you will succumb to a different type of failure, failing yourself. The fear of failure holds back many skilled and talented individuals from realizing their full potential. If you know you can get somewhere with enough work and you feel it's your calling or passion, do it. Trying and failing is better than being too scared to try at all, because who's gonna talk shit if you fail? The people that didn't try? Don't nobody give a fuck what they got to say. Most fear at this point is just used to control people. You teach people how to be scared, and now you don't even have to punish them. because their mind is a cage. Some people genuinely think that you can get a ticket for having your light on in your car because their parents used it to scare them for turning them on. I wasn't dumb enough for this, fortunately. My theory is that fear is a man-made tool to control behavior and limit the potential of others. Think about it. Religion uses fears to shape your behavior. Be good or burn forever. That is not just belief. That is control tactic. You scare people into being obedient. You scare them into never questioning stuff. It's less about faith and more about staying in line. School and society use failure by teaching you if you mess up, you'll be a loser. But if you never mess up, you never can try anything different. So now people are scared to even chase what they want because they're programmed to think that failing once means that they are not worth shit and you don't get a second chance. Parents use fear out of their convenience. Like I said before, the car light shit. Don't turn that light on. It's illegal. It's not. They just didn't want to be distracted or explain the real reason. So now you grow up scared of shit that's not even real. Even media injects fear. You ever notice that your fear of spiders or snakes or clowns or aliens or sharks, all that shit is shown in horror or drama settings? You learn that it's scary before you even have your own experience. That fear becomes default, not chosen. I have a lot of theories pertaining, aliens and sharks and shit. Like, why does the media portray all this shit as terrifying? What are they really trying to hide? I'm not trying to sound like a hippie here, though. I just feel like fear is a secondhand emotion. You did not choose to be scared of certain shit. It chose you through your environment, experiences, and other people's trauma or teachings. And the wildest part of all that is, most of these fears don't even protect you. They just limit you. A good counter to my theory, though, is that animals have fear, which could be considered a strong point if there wasn't a thing called instinct. When a deer hears a twig snap and immediately gets the fuck out of there, that is not fear. That is the raw instinct that has been coded into their DNA through years of evolution. Their entire life is based around don't fall, don't get eaten, don't die. Unfortunately, it isn't don't get hit by a car yet. But hey, you can't have it all, I guess. Animals just don't fear stuff like failure, embarrassment, or being judged. A lion is not gonna give a fuck if it misses an antelope. Bro is just gonna try again tomorrow. A bird is not going to stop singing because the other birds is not fucking with his verse, bro. Animals move on. They have no anxiety and no shame. We should be more like animals. What humans have, on the other hand, is more complex, learned fear. People are more scared of shit like judgment, rejection, hell, looking dumb, and not being successful by 25 than a deer is of a wolf or a bear. The real issue isn't the fear itself. It's what man has made it. When its instinct is valid, when it's taught, exaggerated, or controlling, that's when it becomes a problem in a mental cage. And pretty dumb to have. All I wrote, that's the end of my essay. Hello, I'm Hino. I'm re-recording the end of this video because it felt very dry. I just cut it out. I'm gonna put this part in. Thank you for watching this far. If you liked the video, leave a comment if you haven't already, and subscribe maybe. It's free. If you go in my description, I have a Discord. If you want to get updates or maybe stuff like that on when I'm dropping a video or something, look in the description. There's multiple links. I think Twitter, Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram and Discord. I'm trying to build my community. As you can see, this was a streaming setup, but I don't really stream anymore because I feel like streaming with this image scary. Boy, what the fuck? I feel like streaming with no fan base is kind of dumb, so that's why I'm focusing on YouTube more right now. But if I get popular enough, if I have enough people in my community, I'll start streaming for you guys again, and I have big things planned for streams. Trust me. You don't want to miss out on that. So support me to the fullest. I'm poor right now. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Love you guys. I'll talk to you next week. Maybe sooner, maybe later. Hopefully sooner.